Hey, what's going on everyone? It's Larry the Batman fan. I'm back with another video. So today I feel like we should do an underrated list, a hidden gems list. I have done some hidden gems videos before, but we're talking about some hidden gems for the Nintendo DS. So I'm going to go over some hidden gems. A few of these titles I actually do have, but they're scattered in my room somewhere. I'm not entirely sure where they are right now because I've got a lot of boxes filled with games and comic books and movies and stuff like that. Some of it I'm actually trying to sell to get some more money and stuff. But anyways, that aside, there is some hidden gems on the Nintendo DS. The Wii and the Nintendo DS in particular, though, do get a lot of hate because when looking for games, you have to really dig deep to find some good ones. Because besides the first party titles like Mario, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, Lego Star Wars, Kirby games, and Metroid, and also Zelda, The Legend of Zelda, because there were two games on the Nintendo DS for that. It's kind of a crapshoot because you end up coming across a lot of garbage ass games on the Nintendo DS, such as Pets 2, the Barbie games, Personal Cooking Trainer. I wouldn't consider that a great game. And all those crappy Disney licensed games like High School Musical, and The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and the Jonas made a game, Wizards of Waverly Place. Those games all suck, like most of the Disney games that they came out with besides Spectrobes, Kingdom Hearts, were pretty much dog shit. They were garbage. But I was able to come up with a list of 10 different games that I think are worthwhile. The honorable mentions for hidden gems, I'm going to get that out of the way. Prince of Persia, The Fallen King, and Battles of Prince of Persia. Typically speaking, not hypothetically, but typically, normally speaking, Prince of Persia is not a hidden gem. But in this instance, do you ever really think of Prince of Persia on the DS? Probably not. But there were 3 or 4 Prince of Persia games on the DS, and they're actually quite good. Captain America, the Super Soldier, a good licensed game on the DS. That is a hidden gem. Let's see, I gotta give you a few more. Bookworm and Jewel Quest, those are decent puzzle games, if you like puzzle games. And Rock Blast, it's another puzzle game on the DS. It was also on the Wii, so was Jewel Quest, but it was also on the DS, and it's pretty good for a puzzle game. Dementium and Dementium 2, The Ward. Personally, I think the second game is a little bit better because you get to hold the gun and the flashlight at the same time. You can't do that with the first game. So that makes the second game a lot better. And it's a survival horror game. It's good. And Beautiful Joe. Yeah, they made a Beautiful Joe game on the Nintendo DS, and I think that that's underrated because who's honestly talking about that game? Not very many people, compared to the PS2 and GameCube games. Those are more talked about than the one on the DS. And also there's a first-person shooter game called Moon, M-O-O-N, and I think it's almost on the same level as Metroid Prime Hunters for first-person shooter games on the DS. It's pretty good. Overall, it's a pretty good shooting game. Anyways, let's get into this list now. First game we have on the list, and I wrote them all down so I wouldn't forget. Excuse me. Arachnoid DS. Basically, take the NES game Arachnoid and Arachnoid Do It Again on Super Nintendo, make it into a DS game, make it its own game, match up blocks and stuff, watch them disappear. It's a decent puzzle game overall, and it's worth buying for your Nintendo DS. And it's inexpensive. It's around a $10 to $15 game. You really can't go wrong if you're a fan of puzzle games. I do recommend checking out Arachnoid DS. Number 2 is Professor Layton and the Diabolical Box. Now, this might be a questionable choice there because Professor Layton over the years has actually become more well known. So basically, you got Professor Layton and his little teenage buddy, and the two of you go on a quest to solve mysteries. It's kid friendly, it's E10, it's not as violent as Sherlock Holmes. The Sherlock Holmes games usually are T for teen, although the Sherlock Holmes games did once or twice cross into the M-rated territory. And, Batman, of course, is kind of like a detective as well. He's in the T range. So it's kid-friendly, it's E10, because the violence in it is not as heavy as some other detective games. And there's no blood or language in the game. So it's got a cartoony look to it, and there's puzzle solving in the game where you gotta find clues. And you kind of, point and click adventure type of game is what it's also known as. But it also has puzzle solving, as I said, where you find clues and stuff to try to investigate things, try to find stuff in the game, and you talk to people. There is some dialogue and talking that moves along the story, so it has a little bit of a visual novel style to it, but it's done pretty well, and it's a really great game if you have a DS. And there were 3 or 4 games on the DS, and the Diabolical Box is only around a $15 game, so it's really no excuse not to pick it up. It's a hidden gem. Also, the Curious Village, that one is also pretty affordable. That's around a $15 to $20 game. It also depends on the condition. If it's just loose cart, you might be able to get it for $12. But if it's complete with the box, manual case, and cover art, be prepared to pay about 20 bucks, or at the most $25 for the games. The other ones, there was 1 or 2 others on the DS, but they're not as affordable. They're around the $40 to I think $70 range, I believe. Alright, the next game we have on the list is another detective game. It's called Crime Scene. It's also one of the few M-rated games on the Nintendo DS besides the 2 Dementium games, Resident Evil and 999. Crime Scene, you're playing as a detective and you're investigating areas, solving crimes and murders. There is blood and violence in the game, and a little bit of language too. They say S words and they say damn and things like that. The game puts you in the role of a detective, and that's what you do. You solve crimes. Look up some gameplay of that. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's actually really good. It's definitely a hidden gem that you don't want to miss out on. Definitely a lot of fun. Excuse me, but you gotta have the patience for it, of course, because it's not one of those games that you can breeze right through. You really have to think, because it does have some puzzle solving in it. But it's done pretty well, and it's a great underrated game for the DS. Next up we have is Feel the Magic. Feel the Magic is a really good game. It's a party type of game. You would have never thought that by the cover, because it shows a woman in a bikini. So when you first glance at that game, you're like, what the hell is this? You know what I mean? And then when you buy it, it's actually a good game. There's all different types of mini games in it. There's like puzzle type of games in there, where you pop balloons and shit. And then there's other things that you do in the game too. Volleyball and, it's a decent party game. It's not on the level of Mario Party DS, but it's still a pretty fun party game overall. There is is a lot of fun to be had with it, and it's not expensive either. It's only around a $15 game. Might be a little bit less, cartridge only, maybe $10. But with the case, with it being complete, it's around a $15 to $20 game. Next up is Alex Ryder Stormbreaker. I did see the movie of Alex Ryder Stormbreaker. I thought it was slightly disappointing. I liked that it had some good ideas for Alex Ryder, but just didn't have enough action in it. Maybe they should have made it PG-13, added a little more action in it. But they decided to go the kid-friendly route and made it PG, which is nice. I do like PG movies. I'm okay with PG. But didn't have enough action in it. But the game, however, based on the movie, was actually a decent game for the DS. Plays Alex Ryder and you go around levels. It's a beat 'em up style game, so you do beat up bad guys in parts of the game. You have a watch on your wrist that you use for certain things, like using as a laser to open up locked gates. There is innocent civilians that you occasionally come across in the game that you'll talk to, and you do communicate with your superior, the one that hired you basically, to solve these crimes and stuff. It's really good. It's a good game overall. I definitely recommend checking it out. Also, I do recommend the TV show. I've seen the first season of the TV show and I really liked it. I thought it was really good, and it really implemented the books that they were based off of into the TV show pretty well. I'd like to watch the rest of that show because I haven't seen anything past season 1, but I know they got like 3 or 4 seasons by now. Let's see. I also have Tenchu Dark Secrets, which I do own for the DS. That is a good game. It's a ninja style game. It's T for teen. They toned it down. There wasn't any gore in the game, like in Wrath of Heaven and the 2 that were on the PlayStation 1. And I think there's one on the PSP as well. But there's one on the DS and it's called Dark Secrets. I own it. I have it somewhere in my room. It's a top-down view type of game, and it actually plays pretty well. I had some fun playing it, and was sitting there just screwing around and playing it for like an hour, whacking shit, and killing enemies, and picking up keys and items, and unlocking doors and things like that. It was actually pretty good overall. So I recommend that as well. The next game that's on the list I already mentioned, so I gotta think of something else. Boulder Dash DS. They made a Boulder Dash game that was on the NES, but they made a DS port of it. It might be a sequel to it, or it might be a remake, but it's a pretty self-explanatory game. You're playing as some guy underneath the ground, and you have to pick up items in the game, but you gotta watch out for the boulders, because if they hit you, you die. So just watch out for the boulders in the game. And once you collect all the items, you find your way to a door, and then you move on to the next level. And you try to find your way out of there. So it's an interesting puzzle solving type of game. Kind of reminds you a little bit of Dig Dug, but it isn't quite Dig Dug, if that makes sense. It's pretty good. Ford Racing 3 is actually a pretty fun racing game on the DS. The port from the PS2 version of the game actually plays pretty well for a racing game. It is not an expensive game whatsoever. Cart only is only around a $5 to $8 game. Complete in box, it's around a $10 to $12 game. It's definitely not expensive. I think the Boulder Dash game is around the $15 game. Just had to mention that. And the Tenchu game is around the $20 game. But yeah, Ford Racing is pretty self-explanatory. It's just a racing game. Go around the tracks and stuff. 3 laps around the track. But it's fun. It's arcadey style and it's actually fun. And it's really cheap. And it's definitely not a crappy game on the DS. So I recommend it. If you're a fan of racing games. but you already have Mario Kart, then I recommend picking that up because it's decent. Number 9 is Cop the Recruit. Play it in the role as a cop. RGT85, by the way, mentioned this game. But you play it as a role of a cop, and you go through the levels. You're talking to people, so it does have some dialogue. It is also a driving game. It does have some shooting in it. It kind of gives you that Grand Theft Auto feel because of the shooting and the driving. I think at certain points of the game, parts of the game rather, you do get out of your car and you do get to shoot things, shoot bad guys, but it's later on in the game. First couple of levels, you're driving around in your car, picking up items and stuff, and going from point A to point B. You know, there's like an arrow on the screen that shows where you're supposed to go, and you kind of have to follow that arrow. Yeah, it's actually a pretty good game for the Nintendo DS. It's a T-rated game. But yeah, it's underrated, and a copy of it, loose cart, it's around a $15 game. With the case and manual and the cover art and box, probably around a $20 to $30 game. It's gone up over the years because it's become a bit more sought after. After collectors started to talk about it on the internet here, they're saying that this was actually a good game. So it went up a little bit. You want to get it complete, but it's a really good game overall. And the last game I want to mention, which I guess I already mentioned that, I put Crash Bandicoot Boom Bang on there. So we're going to go ahead and just mention the other Crash Bandicoot game, and that's Mind Over Mutant. The game is not exclusive to DS, it's also available on the PS2, Xbox 360, and the Nintendo Wii, and possibly the PlayStation 3. But it's also on the DS as well, and it's actually a really fun platformer game for Crash Bandicoot. You know what you do in Crash Bandicoot, you go through the levels, you jump on bad guys' heads, do vicious stomps, belly plops. You have a Aku helps you out in the game as well. You can also take a second hit if you have a Aku with you. You get 100 apples and you get a free life. And you also got to watch out for the TNT and the Nitro. If you hit the Nitro, you die instantly. TNT, you can at least get the hell out of the way. But yeah, overall, it's a very fun game for Crash Bandicoot. I don't think it gets enough love or attention, even for the DS standards. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. I hope you guys, collectors out there, find some hidden gems on the DS. I may do a part 2 to this in the future because I know there is a lot more games on the DS that are underrated or hidden gems. So anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to hit the like button, the thumbs up button, and be sure to subscribe to my channel so that way you can be a part of everything that I got going on. Be sure to subscribe, people. Subscribe. Help out Larry the Batman fan to get to 400 subscribers. We're on that road to 400 subscribers. Got to keep on going, keep on going. God bless you all, and thank you for watching. Larry the Batman fan signing off. Peace.